Hi, I'm Joanne Banko, author and educator at letsgosew.com. Today I want to help you bundle up baby in this great terry and double gauze fabric, soft, comfortable little baby cape. Perfect for after bath, just cozy up your baby. So let me show you from the very beginning how I got started. I made my own pattern, and yeah, you could draw the actual measurements that I'm going to give you right onto the fabric, but I don't know about you, I like to make a pattern for something that I'm going to use repeatedly. It ends up saving time, so I grab pattern tracing cloth, draw exactly what I'm going to need, mark it, store it, put it in a, in an envelope or your file cabinet, and then that way you've got it ready to go when you're ready to make a baby present. So what I did is I started by cutting a rectangle of, actually square, 30 inches by 30 inches, and then rounding off the corner. So rounding off corners, a common tool we use for that is a little luncheon plate. It certainly works. If you don't have something that's the right size, then you could use a compass as well. But the thing you want to be concerned with here that you want to remember is you want a gentle curve, because what I'm going to show you today is some variations for this, but mainly how to finish this with a really nice custom bias binding that matches the terry made from that same fabric. So in order to do that neatly and easily, you want to have a decent curve and not have anything too sharp, because this just makes it a whole lot easier to sew. So I think my plate measured 8.5 inches, so that's just about the perfect size. So I've rounded all that off, and then I can take that one and put that away. I'm going to cut one layer of that with terry cloth, and then I'm going to need a hood. So for my hood, I cut a 12-inch square, and I only need half of that square, but it's easy to just cut that in half, and you'll have two triangles. You'll have one then ready for the next one. You'll see when I show you another variation why we actually want a whole square for that. So let's talk about making the actual trim. We're going to start with, again, the same fabric that I'm using for the hood that I would cut from this square, and then just simply fold double, and then I don't know if you could see that curve matches that curve. So I've got the same rounded edge there that's going to go where my rounded edge is for my rectangle. And I want to cut custom bias to make custom bias binding. So I'm going to start with a nice section of fabric. This fabric is very kind of like rippled as a natural effect. It's got a natural little pucker to it. Makes it really nice to care for, makes it really pretty. But for bias binding, we're going to want to straighten that out. So I recommend ironing this while it's just a little bit damp, and maybe use a little bit of spray starch and just flatten that all out. I like to start with a half a yard. If you're a quilter out there, you may know some great methods for making continuous bias binding, and I've done those methods too, but when you use smaller pieces of fabric, you have a lot of seams. And for something like this, I prefer to have a little less bulk. So by cutting my strips, we're going to cut them on the diagonal, across a whole opened half-yard piece of fabric, we're going to be able to get long strips across there and not have to have so many seams when we join it. So first step, cut those strips. You can cut the whole piece of fabric if you want and have leftovers, or cut, sew, and only use as much fabric as you need. It's up to you. Each strip is going to be cut 3 inches wide, and it's going to look like this. You're going to have a diagonal edge because of where that's cut. And the next step then is going to be to straighten that out. So I've already done that on this piece. I have literally squared that off. And then I'm going to sew a diagonal seam from one little tip or one little point of that square edge to the opposite one, straight across. Now you may be wondering, why would you waste all that fabric? Why wouldn't you just butt it together and sew right sides together? Well, if you do that, you're going to have a straight seam. And straight seams, when they go all around the edge of something, end up, again, bulky. On the diagonal, they will roll so that you'll have part of the bulk in one area, the rest of the bulk will be a little bit down below. So it's a really, really good way to do it. So once I've done that, I'm gonna trim that, I'm gonna press that open, and the last step before I go over to stitching is to press that in half because we're making this double folded, okay? Let's scoot over the machine and let me show you how I actually sewed the binding. I have already got my machine set up with a walking foot and a zigzag stitch. Now, why do I use a walking foot? Because it works. Walking feet are well known for doing quilting, but for me, anytime I'm dealing with bias or anything that tends to move or wiggle, I opt for the walking foot. The closed toe version works really, really well. So you can see I've taken that square, I've folded it in half, I've matched my rounded corner there, okay? And now I've got my bias already stitched for the first step, which is just 3/8 of an inch all the way around. I'm gonna wrap this over, and I am ready to zigzag it. Now, why did I choose a zigzag? Because I call this the forgiveness stitch. If I chose a straight stitch, when I wrap this around to the wrong side, I have to be really, really, really good at getting it right on target. I don't need to do that if I use a zigzag. It's very forgiving. I'm gonna stitch right on top of that bias binding. And it's gonna end up catching all the way on both sides. So I could be a little bit neater with that. But let's go back over to the table and I'll show you again what that looks like finished. Okay, so you can see my finished one, all bound, all around. I used matching thread, and I've got a really nice, clean, neat finish that matches my double gauze hood. So let's talk about options. We've got, the ability to do this a variety of different ways. You certainly could use another layer of the terry cloth and make a single layer hood. You wouldn't want to double that, so you wouldn't want to fold that one in half like we did the gauze. That would give you 3 layers here. That'd be a little bit too bulky. And you can use pre-purchased or ready-made bias binding to trim that. Another option that I really love is doing machine embroidery. This way you can really make your baby a star by embroidering Star Baby. You can do that in software. So let me switch over to the computer and just show you a few little special features that we have here. I've already brought up an embroidery design, and I have added something using one of the tools in this software called Nap Control. Okay, let me undo it and then redo it so that you can see what happens. When I select this design, it's going to tell the machine, or tell the software rather, that I want to deal with that whole piece. I simply then can touch Nap Control, and I can change the distance of that. And within seconds, it's going to add that extra layer of stitches all the way around. What does Nap Control do? It produces a layer, I'll show you one I have already stitched out here, as the base before it does the embroidery stitching. Take a look back at the screen there and you can see all the way around this heart design, I have this wonderful nap control that lays down stitches and presses down on that terry. I use water-soluble topper anyway just to give that a little bit more lift, and my design comes out absolutely beautiful. I can finish that with gauze on the back, and then again round that corner, use bias binding that I custom make or bias binding purchased. And I've got a wonderful, beautiful baby cape, perfect for a baby gift. This is a great baby gift to keep it in your repertoire, so whenever there's a new baby around, you can quickly whip it up. You can also make this in larger sizes, so the sky's the limit. Enjoy making your own beautiful baby wrap.